Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with my co host, Makobura, as we wait for Mr. Miguda to come into the show. Makobura, how are you doing?
Yes, good evening. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm saying hi to you and to me good. I hope you guys are doing good.
Okay, thank you so much. Miguda, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. I
Yep.
am faring on very well. How about you guys?
Yes, we are doing fine. And maybe to start with, because yesterday we lost a member of parliament through a gunshot when they just left parliament. And his death has um, given us a data, especially in the Kenya history, as the fifth or the sixth member of parliament to be shot while serving as a member of parliament. Maybe if I can just give you the numbers, then you can also bring in your thought on what happened and what is the way forward, especially. We have in 1965, we had Pinto Gama, the member of parliament for Parklands, went through the same fate. We have Tom Mboya in 1968, the member of parliament for Kisumu Town. We had J.M. Karaoke in 1975, Nyandarua. We have Tony Ndilinge, 2005. It was MP for what, Kilome. Then we have Mugabe Were. If you can remember, Mugabe Were was just elected in 2007, 2008 general election, and he lost his life. We also know the Kabete member of parliament, George Muchai, and right now the last one is Charles Were Ongondo, the member of parliament for Kabondo Kasipul. So he has added that data to be six parliamentary who have gone down through gunshot wounds. So that is the history that we have. Let me take this opportunity to say a word of condolence to the family and the people of Kabondo Kasipul for losing their member of parliament. And maybe Makubura, what do you have to say to the family?
Okay, thank you. Personally, I'm also sending my condolences to the family of the late member of parliament of Kasipul, Kabondo.
Yeah,
And what I can say is that this issue of shooting that we've been seeing in the Republic of Kenya, and
mhm,
more of it, if you do follow, the reason why people are being shot is because of either business, misunderstanding, political. And what I can say is that it doesn't warrant, it is not good to
yeah,
kill a fellow human based on differences when it comes to whether political or business or whichever differences that you have.
yeah,
Because one thing I believe is that the reason why we are human beings, the reason why we are not dogs, the reason why we are not, cows, is because us we can reason, and God gave us that, that capability, and He gave
yeah,
us the knowledge and the mind, and that is why we are in this world, and that is why we keep doing development. That is why we keep, behaving differently, and trying to bring good to
mhm,
the areas where we live. So I
okay,
believe that whatever differences that people have, they can always be sorted out man to man, and it is not fair to kill a fellow human being, because even the Christianity that majority of us, subscribe to, even if not just Christianity, whether Muslim or whichever, I don't
yeah,
think there's any religion that that permits or that allows that kind of killing. But again, something else that I've also noticed is I've seen so many people commenting on social media, but that again is left to God.
yeah,
What I can also say is that let us be human beings. Let us love one another. If we have problems with them, let us face them and tell them this and this. Killing is not a solution in this generation.
Okay, thank you so much. And I want to agree with you that at this time, at this time, maybe we can just let the investigative authorities to do their work, and maybe they will give us the ill motive of the perpetrator. So, and we believe and have hope, high hope in our security and men and women in the investigative center that they will come up with a report that will be satisfying both to the family and to the nation and even the parliament itself. Mr. Miguda, what do you have to say about the death of Member of Parliament for Kabondo Kasipul, Honorable Owondo Were?
First, I would like to convey my condolences to the family of the demise member of parliament who was serving his second term. We are familiar with the route along Ngong Road, and Marco Bura knows very well. We are familiar with that route because we used to reside there some times back, and I've just tried to reach the people who are on the ground to gather the actual intel. From my
Mm-hmm.
source, it is very sudden, and I heard that he was shot like 3 guns. He was shot
Yeah.
dead along. There is a certain roundabout, Raila Odinga Road, connecting with Gong Road. That roundabout. Then on your
The
way to
roundabout
the DOB,
around the city mortuary, or which roundabout is that?
around the city mortuary, exactly,
Daystar,
exactly,
Daystar
around
University.
city mob.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you are from Raila Odinga Road, city mob. There is Daystar University.
Okay.
Then you are going back. If you go back, you go to Nairobi Hospital. That's why it was very easy for them to access Nairobi Hospital. So
Yeah.
from the source, I was actually told by the person who was on the ground who had 3 gunshot on that lawmaker. Then later he was transferred to hospital. So it's very sudden because it is not good for someone to take your life. We have been condemning all these things from time immemorial that it is very unfortunate for someone, even if you have differences, there are avenues to resolve your differences. But taking someone's life is very unfortunate because you have caused you have caused many families, or you have caused the family or the entire constituencies and some friends, or even the members of parliament at large. So
Yeah.
it's very unfortunate for us to lose someone because of a gunshot. Someone who was alive, who was not even sick, and he was even assisting many people other than the family, that the
Yeah.
constituents who depend from him, like their elders, maybe old women, orphans,
Mm.
widows, who are depending from that lawmaker. So we are condemning if that is possible, that it is unfortunate for us to lose that guy. But now let us leave it for the investigative agency because we saw Amin. Actually, the person who was reporting to me told me he met Amin when Amin was going to the hospital to view the body. So Amin will take care with the boys. They will carry out interrogation and will not actually what happened to the deceased member of parliament.
Okay. Thank you so much, and we still convey our condolences to the people of good people of Kasipul Kabondo and the family of Honorable Were. And just to talk about death, whatever circumstances or the way somebody dies, that is something is debatable. But it reminds us that I don't know how I can call it. Is it borrowed time, or how life is too short? Like we are living in a way that we do not know what awaits us. Like if you look at 30 minutes ago, I saw Caleb Amisi, the honorable member for Saboti, was talking of how they had a conversation like uh, before they left parliament. And within a short period of time, like 30 minutes is getting information that, oh, the member of parliament is no more. So it also teaches us on how we should know that our lives are on borrowed time. We can pay it anytime. It depends on how you are going to pay it. But like that one can make you think about how life is. And we still send our condolences, I would say again and again, to the family of Kabondo Kasipul and the entire constituency. Also, we've lost Otula, the former Maseno principal. You know him? He died today at his home. And they are also mourning. We also send our condolences. And yesterday we forgot to mention the name of legend, especially in the radio station, the Edward Quach. I think I know all of you know Edward Quach, right? He's baritone, the voice, and his show. So he also left us a few days ago. So that is the grievings that we are having, and we send all those families our condolences, and we pray that may God give them strength at this time of the hour that they are feeling it the most. Thank you so much, Makobura. Miguda, today we had a Labor Day. I don't know whether you have any story that you picked from either the president or the leaders who are attending the Labor Day, so you can share with us.
From in a nutshell, what
Yeah.
I discovered that there was no discussion of minimum wage, and
Yeah.
there was discussion that the pensions, they have been exempted from tax. Actually, there is no tax in pension, from what I know, because I'm dealing with
Mhm,
the pensioners. So
mhm,
telling us that they have exempt tax from pension, it's just like
mhm.
they have maintained the status quo into the pension locket. That one was
Oh,
discussed. And also we understand that people expected that there could be discussed other issues, but the president touched the issue of finance bill 2025, which Kenyans are anticipating to understand
mhm.
and read what is inside it. I think that was the thing that took many people into shock, that there was supposed to be additional, or maybe I think 6% additional for workers,
Yeah.
or they were supposed
Mhm.
to discuss other issues which they excluded. That is what I gathered from the statement read by Mr. President.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, Makobura, I don't know whether you can touch on, Actually talked of about tax deduction to be made on the basic salary. What is your take on that, and how will it help the common man or the people who their payslip is being taxed?
Okay, thank you. I think it's a good proposal because that might somehow help the people of Kenya because you know taking the tax or taxing people's salary from the gross, the government ends up going with a lot of money. You know, there are some people who actually, of course, work overtime, and part of that, of course, is displayed in their payslip. And what the government has been doing is, if you are paid,
Mm-hmm.
gross is the total amount of money that you're paid, whether it is overtime, whether it is transport allowance, whichever allowances that that you get, they're all put there, and then that is the assumption of the total money that you are supposed to be paid. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, before subjecting it to tax, so you find that if someone is earning, let's say, 60,000, and then the other overtime and those other allowances, at the end of the month they are supposed to be given 100,000. You find that what the government has been doing is they tax the all gross, the assumed money that you're supposed to be taking home,
Yeah.
and that is what they use. I mean, that is the amount they apply their, the their 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 what they take the gross, and then they multiply with the percentage that they're supposed to take, and that is what is being taxed. So the
Okay.
the problem that the people of Kenya has been having is they've been requesting, of course, the government that if then you want to tax, then kindly tax the net and leave these allowances, because the more the more you earn, the more the taxes. So some people are actually being
Okay.
demoralized, and they say that even like I can't go continue doing an overtime because I'll get something too small of it out of it.
Okay.
So I think if they can look into that, it can somehow help, because the rate at which they're taxing the payslip, so many things. You end up someone earning 120,000, ends up taking home 70,000. So almost half of your gross is being
Mhm.
taxed. I mean, is being taken by the government, and that is of course demoralizing workers. Some of them are, they have no option uh, but to continue. So
Okay.
it's about that if they can consider somehow can motivate the people. But
Mhm.
again, it is, the people of Kenya are currently suffering. I wish they would somehow increase the salaries, because you find that we haven't actually seen salary increment, especially those people who are working in private sectors and even the public sectors. But it's so unfortunate that I don't know whether I've been seeing almost every year the
Mhm.
members of parliament are being, their salaries are being increased, and it is being increased with almost more than almost 50 or between 30% to 50% of their what they're earning. And the
Yeah.
question is, with the increase in
Yeah.
production, with the increase in fuel, with the increase of taxes and everything, the cost of things continue, going up, increasing, but the salary is stuck. So you find that people are unable to continue affording their basic needs, and this is becoming a problem. So what is currently happening is that people have cut their spending. If, for example, someone was using 10,000 to do a shopping, you
Yeah.
find that they cut it and they're now using like 8,000 or 7,000 to do the shopping, and it is translated back. It is even reduced to how much now people are consuming
Mhm.
in the house setup. And this is not being fair. I think the people of Kenya are hardworking people. They wake up very early in the morning. Some of them work overnight, and
Mhm.
ni watu wanajituma. So the government need to recognize their energy so that they don't feel not being recognized by their government.
Okay, thank you so much. And before we go into the main discussion, because today we want to look at why is it that President William Ruto keep on appointing Raila Amolo Odinga, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga think tank, the latest one being Makao Mutua, Professor Makao Mutua. So this has made us as those who are in the political, and we want to give it a political angle, and we say like, what interest do president or what interest do the two leaders have? Why the think tank, those who have been in the campaign, especially the strategists, the inner core of Raila Amolo Odinga decision makers in the campaign team are being appointed to the president and they're working in the president office. So what is the political endgame to this? And maybe Miguda, if you can talk, Makubura talked about the government should consider or calling out a percentage of what the Kenyan people should be earning because Kenyan people are working hard. How is that one going to be possible? Because it depends on how a factory or a particular company is making money. Instead of talking of government each and every day calling for increment or by what percentage, do you think it will be okay if the government come up with the modalities whereby we can say that this is a minimum wage? Anybody who wants to be employed in Kenya, this is the minimum wage you should always earn when you're being employed, pending the review, depending on how the economy of the country will be working.
Actually, Makobura talked about the issue of increment, but also you must have a formula
Yeah.
whereby other than increment, you need to discuss because you cannot just wake up in the morning and you increase the salaries. There must be a formula on how the taxation and also the income and also the revenues which has been raised
Yeah.
by the government so that you can disperse it to the people. You must know where this money is coming from. You want to
Mhm.
increase. That's why I started by saying the issue of wage bill, the minimum wage bill which you have asked me. Actually, it is there. I think it is around something like 8% or 9.1%, which by each and every employee ought to be given that wage bill. It should cut across. It doesn't matter where you are employed, be it private sector or public sector, because even in private sector, we find that there are some people who are being paid less, unlike what is there into the wage bill. Actually, I believe that if you look at the labor law is very clear that it should be around 8%, though I'll check it. And
Yeah.
by that time, it was supposed to be 14,000 or 15,000, so to say.
Mhm.
And we find
Mhm.
out right now, there are some employees which are being paid 8,000, 6,000. You should,
Mhm.
that is little. They should be paid at least minimum of 14 or 16, if that is how it should be running. And that is
Yeah.
what we ought to have asked the president to give a executive order, or members of parliament should put it into law through act of parliament, so that it is something that can be implemented. That is why I say that there was omission of wage bill topic. If at all they could have discussed that wage bill,
Mhm.
it could have been reflected onto the 8% or 9 point something percent which I'm talking about.
Thank you. So, and the wage bill, I think, if I understand you well, it is in the labor laws, but it's something can be reviewed based on how the economy of the country is doing. We can say, oh, this year we are saying, okay, from this year we are saying that the minimum wage bill, if a Kenyan is employed in any factory or in any company or in any institution, they should be given a particular amount. This is the minimum wage bill that anybody should get when they get employed. So,
Mm.
and that one will not every time we go for such celebration like Labor Day, we are expecting the president to call out that, okay, you need to increase by such and such a percentage, yet you don't know even how the other companies are doing in terms of making profit or losses.
Yeah, that's what I was discussing actually, exactly what you are saying. We need even today, they need to give the people the gift by talking about the way they can review it, the way you have said, but it can,
Okay.
because we have Labor Day celebrations annually. So when it comes annually, it means that we can
Mhm.
review it even annually. That okay, it cut across, provided you are an employee, because even
Yeah.
those people we are employing in our houses to carry out the
Mhm.
house houses or to carry out
Mhm.
of take care of our kids, we need to
Yeah.
regulate the salary they are getting. That it should be a minimum of such amount, this percentage. It is not only
Okay.
applicable to maybe workers who are working outside, but even those are domestic workers, those who are working even
Okay.
in farms. It should be cutting across that. The way bill should be this percentage, and it should be put into law, even for review. Or at the same time, it should
Mhm.
be also implemented.
Okay, thank you so much. Makobura, what is your thought on that? And as we welcome Gibson Corner and we see you, and I hope you're doing fine, Brenda, Obedi, and Judith, thank you so much for following.
Yeah, you've asked a question on what determines uh, in which way are the employees supposed to increase the salaries, and why has it not happened? I think currently the cost of production in the Republic of Kenya is too high. The cost of operation is too high, and if you've been keen, just the other week there was a mass. There were so many companies that sent home quite a number of people, saying that
Mm.
they are unable to, to operate efficiently because the cost of operation is too high and too expensive. So they
Mm-hmm.
laid off so many employees. Something else that we've also noticed is that there are so many companies that
Yeah.
actually left the Republic of Kenya and went, saying that the cost of running business in Kenya is not currently favorable. If you look at the taxes, they're too high and such kind of things. So
Yeah.
I think the reason why partly the companies or the employers have not uh, increased the salaries is because of the operating environment is not really favorable. But of course, this blame should then go to the government because it is the government. The buck stops with, of course, the president and the government. They make the decisions, they make the rules, which are then influences or which are then taken down and decides on how things operate.
Okay, thank you.
And
And
that is why, if you've been keen, as much
yes,
as the labor people have been saying that increase the salary, the reason why they've not increased it, the reason why they cannot do a follow-up is because they know that if they start implementing such kind of laws,
yeah,
then again, so many companies which are going to leave.
okay.
So that has been a challenge, and they have to look into that.
Yes, and I think it's if you talk about the companies, maybe company closing down or downsizing on their staff, I think the government can bring in what we call the tax measures, that can make it quite much favorable for investors to operate. Maybe offering tax breaks, or sometimes offering the incentives, or maybe giving graft, or giving them tax free, especially that one can make the environment for trading, or to make the business grow. Because if you increase more taxes, that one will not make the business do well. And this is what our good friend Gibson Connor, let me just read what Gibson Connor is saying about it. Is about I might blame lack of work because of inflation and not recovering from effects of COVID-19. Uh, 2019 and tax too. Yes, that is true. And also the tax system that we have in Kenya, if majority of people evade tax, that is also a loophole, whereby if people do not pay tax, or the larger companies tend to evade tax, then again that one falls on the economy, and the burden is going to be on especially those companies that are doing business. Then another thing also is, how do you promote the local businesses? How do you promote the local businesses? One, by giving them favorable conditions for them to trade, talking about tax break. So such like issues can make the economy grow. And once they start to realize that profit, that is when they can also replicate that by giving them to their employer, their workers, and they say, okay, now we are getting profit, and now let us give you some salary increment, because we are doing well. So that is one of those. And I think this is a topic, especially when it comes to taxes and economy, we need to get an expert so that can take us through it, and we know more about the taxes and how the government, or what are the modalities, or what are the dots that government can connect, so that the investors and even local markets, or local industry can thrive. Brother Benson, jobs have gone digital, yes, and how digital too, and how are we equipped when it comes to digital market, in terms of embracing the digital market? How do we move swiftly toward the digital to do our businesses? That's one true. That one also might also be a factor. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And today we want to give our views, especially on the appointment that President William Ruto is making, especially the think tank of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. If you're very keen, President William Ruto has appointed quite a number of think tankers that Raila Odinga has been especially using during his campaign, or has surrounded him to talk about his campaign on everything that you do. Just to remind you a few, we have Professor Adam Solo, was appointed by the president as an advisor. Remember Adam Solo? I think he's a constitutional lawyer. Is also appointed. We have the Dr. Sylvester Kasuku, also, who have worked with Raila for the longest time, was also appointed. So there are quite a number of Raila think tankers, and the latest one being Makao Mutua. So the question is, why is it that the president is so much concentrated in appointing those who have been at the core of the Raila Amolo Odinga campaigns. Yeah, what is happening between him and Raila? Makubura, what do you think is taking place? Because if you look at the position that has been given by that has been awarded to Makau Mutua, is concerning the constitution, is a constitutional advisor to the president. And now you ask yourself, what is the work of attorney general? So Miguda, also you will weigh on that, because you enter with the matters to do with the legal here. And remember, another thing that this thing also has exposed to us, I will read for you a comment or somewhere where Makau Mutua himself said that he cannot work with President William Ruto. But today, he accepted the appointment of President William Ruto. And what does it say about our politics? As always, we talk about, you look at the people and the leaders themselves. So those are some of the things that we are going to look at. Marco Bura, what do you say about that?
Okay, thank you. Maybe let me recognize. I can see Judith at the comment section, Gypsy Corner, Brenda, and Gypsy Corner wrote something about XX. The conversation that we had the other day, and she has just reminded me. And thank you, Gypsy Corner, for she told me that it's a sign of love. That's nice, thank you. I wanted to speak up.
Wewe Makuburu, ulikuwa na mapenzi kwa mtandao ama nini?
Mambo ni mengi. Acha tu nimalize hii alafu nitakwambia. Yeah. So on the issue of Professor Makau, he's been an insider of the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, and most of time you've seen him as a personal. He has behaved like a personal assistant, or I think that is the best word I should use, because we've seen him going with him everywhere. He's among those people who have stood with him, whether Raila is traveling out of the country. He's always with him. The other day when Raila was going for AUC chairmanship, he was there with him, and then the people who had advised him on what to say and issues to do with diplomacy and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Something else that I also remember about Professor is that sometimes back when when Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was still the president, he had problems with the current president, William Samoei Ruto. And most of times he would give reasons why he believes he can never work for William Samoei Ruto. And actually there's a whole list of things that are listed in one of the newspapers, giving reasons why he cannot work with him. And part of it was he felt, if you've ever read that, what he wrote is that if he was saying that he felt that William Ruto is not really a good leader, and that issues to do with corruption is being mentioned so much on issues to do with corruption, and he's not someone who fully respects the law and all those good things that the Constitution provides.
Yeah.
And those are the reasons that he gave. And again, Makau Mutua was yesterday appointed by the president, and if you read his acceptance message via X, he said that I want to take this opportunity to really thank Mr. President William Samoei Ruto for giving me this opportunity, and I'm going to serve you. That is, he was addressing the president with loyalty and the best of whatever, my knowledge and those kind of things. What that tells you is that this is a close ally of Raila Amolo Odinga. And again, the other day, there is Professor, what's his name? This legal advisor of Raila.
Adam Solo.
Yeah, Adam Solo was also appointed. And these are the closest allies of Raila Amolo Odinga. These are the people who have been advising him in his political moves. what this tells you again, together with if you combine all those governors and Opio and I who were elected, or I mean, given the chance to serve as cabinet
Mhm.
secretaries, this is a clear indication that President William Samoei Ruto, at his level best, is not going to entertain leaving Raila Amolo Odinga. He's going to stick with him and he's going to ensure that he gets the support come 2027, because currently he knows very well that things are not working for him. He
Okay.
knows very well that the Mount Kenya has gone. He knows very well that the Republic of Kenya, majority of people are talking negatively about him.
Yeah.
Majority of people are saying he's a liar and all those negative things. The only person whom he knows can assist him is one Raila Amolo Odinga, because as much as Raila, of course, has also lost quite a number of his supporters,
Yeah.
there is that group of supporters that are fanatical, who always believes in him. Whether he's going into fire, they will always go with him. And those
Hmm.
are the people that the president is trying to work hard to maintain. Something
Okay.
else that I've also noticed by the move by the president is that he's trying to appeal to Raila and his close allies that he has is in I mean in his heart he really cares about them and is going to be there for them, and that is why he's been giving them positions that normally they would actually not get in whichever government. And also, if you hear close allies of Raila, they're saying that in the previous handshake, there is no one who was given even a position of the cabinet secretary. And partly now they're saying that it is out of goodwill and out
Hmm.
of genuine, you know, the president being genuine
Yeah.
and acknowledging the presence of Raila Amolo Odinga, that is giving out all these goodies. And partly that
Okay.
is going to be the campaign narrative, especially in the support base of Raila Amolo Odinga,
Okay.
that they got into this government, the government gave them an ease, gave them space to also implement and to do their things. Something else that I've also, observed is if the Coast King current in the last, let's use the last general election, was the former governor of Mombasa, Joho, who is
Hmm.
currently a cabinet secretary. Come to CIA, a good number of people have been elected, Kisumu, and all those close allies of Raila Amolo Odinga. I'm quite sure that these people are not going to leave government, and so they are going to persuade Raila Amolo Odinga. There's nothing as good as being a cabinet secretary and you're getting out of that government going to look for something that is not there. That is going to be the narrative. So the I think it's a confirmation that ODM and DD are going to work together, and the
Hmm.
president is giving them all the reasons why they should work together.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miguda, for Makobura, for that. And this is what Gibson Connor said before I bring in Mr. Miguda. Remember, Raila does not sweat working. He gets a strong team around him, while Ruto has a weak team around him. Yes, so maybe Ruto is trying to procure the strong men around Raila Odinga to assist him. Um, for now. And there's something also that I will tell you about what I think about the appointment. Miguda, when you look at the appointment of Professor Makao Mutua, knowing very well that we usually have Attorney General, that his main role is to advise the president, yeah, and the government. Now, what is the role of Attorney General going to be if now you've gotten somebody that is going to advise the president on constitutional matters, and some of the advice that he might be giving president will be implemented on the government side, because the president, that is not his personal advisor. If it could be that he's hiring for personal advisor, he could not be sitting in the state house, because that office must be in the state house or the Nyayo house.
I want to make it very clear for us to understand the role of AG and the role of the appointee to the president for the matters of constitutional affairs.
Yes.
In my finding, I find out that the Attorney General is not the advisor to the president. The Attorney
Mm-hmm.
General is the advisor to the government, and the government composed of the executive, legislature, judiciary, and also my fourth arm of government, the commissions and independent offices. So you find
Oh,
out that even in the repeal constitution, the Attorney General used to be ex officio member in Parliament. And right now, the current constitution, the Attorney General is the friend to the court, amicus curia. At the same time, he represents the public into the court. At the same time,
yeah.
he also sits in the cabinet as a member of the executive. So he advised the government, not the president. That one must be distinct. Then we
All
come to the appointee, Professor Makau Mutua. It is right for Mr. President to appoint anybody. He can even appoint me to be his constitutional advisor. That is right, very correct,
right.
because Mr. President roles is outlined in the Constitution, the roles of the President and the function of the President. He must have someone who understands the Constitution of Kenya because when he was swearing in, he said that he will uphold, respect, and defend. There are some roles and functions that are specifically for the President. No any other
Mm,
person can do them. They are just prerogative of the president. For instance, the appointment of the cabinet, the presiding over national holidays,
mm,
the president has the prerogative power, even to appointment of judges. He must have someone who can advise him that when you want to appoint cabinet, the
yeah.
maximum you can appoint is 22. The minimum is 18. AG being part and parcel. He must be advised on the constitutional matters because Mr. President is not a lawyer. Mr. President is not a constitutional expert. Mr. President did not write any constitution. So he must get someone who is having a vast knowledge on constitutionalism. And that one is within his right to appoint anybody who he believes is a guru in the constitution. But I can give it credit to Makau Mutua because Makau Mutua, I've been following Makau Mutua for his articles. He's someone who understands the constitution very well, understands also the role and the functions of the president. So that one must be
Yeah.
distinct. The AG
Mhm,
role should remain to advise the government entirely,
yeah.
but the
Mhm,
Professor Makamutua is advising president specifically on constitutional matters. The reason why he must come in, he talked about previously that he cannot work with Ruto, and he laid some conditions that Ruto was charged with crimes against humanity at the ICC. Ruto
yeah.
violated human rights. At the same time, Ruto opposed the 2010 constitution. He was leading the no team. So he said that such a person who does not respect the rule of law, he cannot work with. But today, it's a good news that he has been put there to correct Ruto because he believes Ruto cannot make anything. So he's there to correct Ruto. Ruto, you must respect the constitution which you oppose. Ruto, you must respect human rights. You don't need to violate any rights of any human being. You don't need to contravene the basic rights and fundamental freedoms. And also, in my conclusion, I want to say
Yeah.
about the issue of Raila's men being in government.
Mhm,
Me, I have a different perspective because
yes.
I'm seeing it that Raila Odinga has got nothing about 2027. Raila Odinga is not going to vie. He has given up
Mhm,
because it is only supporters or diehards who want him to be president or want him to vie. But as for Raila, Raila doesn't want to become president. So with these close allies, like Marco Buraf just stated categorically, that his close allies, he has ensured that because he has been keeping them, that we will get presidency and I will reward you. So he has
mhm,
rewarded his close allies and buddies because even if Raila could be the president in 2022, the best he could have given Makau Mutua is that office which it was given Makau Mutua. The best he could have given Adam Solo is that office he has given Adam. And the best he could have given John Bad is the finance. There was no better position he could have given Joe than mining. So in my
mhm,
view, he is ensuring that his men and even the Jaoko, the son to Oburodinga, he want to incorporate all his allies and friends who have been waiting for his presidency to this government of William Ruto so that they can finish with it. That's why we have been insisting here that don't lie to Kenyans. Raila is going to support William Ruto 2027. They are going to go together because he wants to make sure that his allies remain in government because with him, he's not going to deliver the presidency. The thing that is disturbing Raila right now, what disturbs Raila, which cannot
mhm,
make him to sleep, is one thing. Raila
mhm,
is only worried about his successor, who will succeed him, because the way he succeeded Jaramogi, the, he knows exactly
mhm.
what
Yeah.
is in opposition. He knows that power. He knows that power without responsibility, how sweet is it?
Mm,
So he wants
mm,
someone from his lineage to succeed him. That is what is disturbing Raila. This issue of presidency, this issue of maybe you want to pick up. No, those he doesn't care. That's why it's ensuring that he donate all his allies and friends to Ruto. Is now focusing on his succession. Back to you, Benson.
Okay, thank you so much. And you've talked about the succession and rewarding of the people who have worked with him or who have been very loyal to him, and that one we can give it to him because he's not very mean, especially to reward those who have stood with him. So that is something that we can give him. But now, when we come and talk about Makao Mutua, I bring you back. If you have a history with Makao Mutua, especially with the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, you know, Makao Mutua has been one of those who I think drafts the agreement that especially are being used when Raila is having coalitions with other leaders. Remember the agreement that was deposited to him that was talking about Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka, that was saying that, okay, Raila will only go one term, then the next time it will hand over to Kalonzo Musyoka. Remember that day when there was a fracas when the Azimio, they are trying to form Azimio, where Kalonzo decided to bring it to public that they agreed, and that document was deposited by Makao Mutua, and I think he's the person who might have contributed largely in drafting that. So they've had a long way with the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Makobura, you talked about one of the literature that Professor Makao Mutua penned, especially concerning the president. By then, President William Ruto was a deputy president of Kenya. That is during the Uhuru Muigai time, Kenyatta administration. And I think he was approached just about when people were just about to start 2022 general campaign, or people were in the process. The country was in the process of campaigning. And that one tells you one thing, because he talked of, this is how he started this. Several weeks ago, I was bombarded when a top commander in Deputy President William Ruto's campaign locomotive begged me to work with them to get the man from Sugoi to State House. So it tells you from that alone, it tells you like President William Ruto had always admired Makao Mutua. And that's why he wanted to work with him in 2022 towards general election, or to assist him with his expertise so that President William Ruto could come to power. And he declared that. He wrote so many things. So I'm just going to read some areas. Mr. Ruto and his brigade cannot take this to the nearest, bank. No bona fide civil society organization or any other self-respecting member will touch me, Ruto, with a 10-foot pole. None, wherever I hear the mention of Ruto or sense his proximity, I head in the opposite direction. It has been since his emergence in the youth for KANU 2022. So if you go through the writing, it means that he has, despite the fact that maybe President William Ruto, or during the time President William Ruto was the deputy, admired his expertise, but to him, he confesses here that since 1992, when William Ruto came to limelight, he has not admired his way of politics. There's so much that he wrote. He say the case on crime against humanity, that is some of the things that he was giving the reason why he cannot work with Ruto. And Miguda, you mentioned that, all that. And now he's coming to work with President William Ruto. And always, I tell you, politics is about interest and betrayal. Yeah. And when we come to interest, we've always seen this, especially when that opportunity is not there, you will criticize. But when that opportunity comes, you don't criticize. You say, this is a good man. I can remember very well those who have criticized President William Ruto as a bad leader, all that. They call him all sorts of names. But when President William Ruto offered their job, President Ruto became an angel. Yeah. So that one is telling you that there's a thin line between democracy and interest. That when you get an opportunity, yeah, because if that opportunity is there, you get access to so many good things. They sell us the garden Garden of Eden was a garden with everything until shetani alitokea mahali. So if that opportunity is there and you're privileged to access those opportunity, what you do, you have now to change your way of thought or your stand, because from his writing it tells you that he is not a student of President William Ruto politics. Yeah. So what has changed? Yeah. Or is going on behalf, maybe because he has been working with the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, is going on the assignment. Maybe the Prime Minister told him, okay, you can just take the position. Makubura, what do you think based on his writing? These are just, I just read the first paragraph. He has written a very long paragraph about the president anyway.
These all these things are political motivated actions, and politics are emotionally driven, and greed. There's greed that also plays in it. When personal interest of politicians converge, whether one is Satan, whether one is whichever, they will always join hands and be together. And that is what we've seen. I think a better or good example to that would be William Samoei Ruto and Raila Odinga. Towards the general election of 2022, Raila and Ruto were like water and paraffin, or something like that. They were not seeing eye to they were not seeing eye to eye. But then what happened? It happened that their interests converged, and then they decided to work together. They decided to forget about all the name calling, the negative things that they said about each other. If you remember the many times that the president, said how Raila was a corrupt person, he was a mganga, he cannot lead, he's too old, he has no followers. Raila at the same time said how Ruto was corrupt, he was, he did not respect the constitution, he has no morals, all those kind of things. Those are the people who are today are calling each other brothers and, brothers, I hear sisters and whichever. So there is a clear clarification that no matter the differences in politics, when their personal interest converge, when they're going to get something positive out of it, they will always come together. We've seen these kind of moves with almost all the political class, and that is why currently there is a problem in the Republic of Kenya. If you watched the other day what was happening in the parliament, when the members of parliament were speaking about the BBC expose and those kind of things, if you hear the comments of the members of parliament, there is one who is actually who actually said that people are killed, we forget, and we move on. Part of that statement, Brother Ben, if you've been keen with what happened to the member of parliament from Kasipul who was killed, there's this narrative, there's this thinking, there's this thing that is spreading in the social media. They're saying that, there's a group of people saying that we do not care, even if these members of parliament, for example, die. And they're saying that they do not care because the members of parliament, when they get the opportunity, they also speak negatively. It's like we've gotten to a point where the citizens of the Republic of Kenya are like enemies to the members of parliament. This thing happened the other day. If you remember what Honorable Elachi said about the youth, that if you're
Yeah.
not happy with what is happening, you can leave the country and
Mm.
go. And then something bad happened to his son, and people are on social media saying that, it was like a celebration. And again, this is the same thing that we are seeing. So I think the political leaders are taking care of themselves. And if you saw how they consoled with their own Elachi, and if you saw, for example, those how the people who died during the demonstration, how whether the politicians were there or not, no one was there, no one really cared. Honorable Professor Motoa accepting Ruto's call is not a strange thing in the Republic of Kenya. He is a politician. It is a behavior common with the political class, and that is who they are. That is how they play it. Maybe what we can say is that as a people, we have to be
Yeah.
keen when it comes to elections so that we elect people who are going to say that I'm not going to work with Brother Ben, and he maintains. If Brother Ben tells him that, come, let us work, he has to
Mhm.
give the reasons why I'm going to work with you, and there it has to be public. That is what good leadership is all about. In United
Yeah.
States of America, in South Africa, for example, there were there was an issue of who was after the election. The president did not get enough voting percentage that was needed, but they needed to consult and act. Whatever they talked about was put on public, and that is what democracy speaks about. Today we are not even sure, as much as they are telling us that the MOU or the discussion between the UD and ODM was on public. It is what we were given as a republic is quite different with what is being operated behind the scene, and that tells you the kind of deals, the kind of movement. I mean, implementations are not what was really told to the people of Kenya.
Okay, thank you so much. That and somebody's just reminding me. He just texted me right. I was checking like the. Can I speak about the absence of deputy president in the Labor Day today, where president was welcomed by the prime cabinet secretary? Everything like if such like a protocol or such like a figure, high figure is missing on national holidays like that, it raises political question. But that is something that we can discuss another day. And let me thank you for raising that. Miguda, I want you to look this the appointment of Raila Amolo Odinga think tank towards 2027, and I want you to talk about how president is trying to build in a secretariat in a way that, in a very intelligent way that nobody would think of, because maybe they do not want to have an office. So by bringing all the think tankers of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, this is mainly geared towards 2027 on how to build the campaign team of constructing it, starting to construct it. So constructing it, I mean, so early. I don't know whether you would agree with that or not.
I will agree with that partly on some
Yeah.
reasons.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I want to have a different opinion from Makobura on a lighter note. But
Yeah.
maybe our thoughts can converge when I conclude. I wanted to say, I'm looking at it in this different angle, that
Yeah.
the people who have been Odinga's lieutenants, the people who have been
Yeah.
Odinga's secretariat, all along, they have been yearning to form government. That has been the quest, that we must form the government. But they have never formed any government. The one they enjoyed was that Nusumukati. But some of the allies have been there for a long time. People like Opio, Mbadi, Joho, Oparanya, Adam Solo, Jaoko, including Makau Mutua. These have been constant loyalists. They have been there so they have been yearning to form government. That's why I say that there could be no better positions given to these people, even if Raila could become president in 2013, 2017, even for 20 years. They could just be given the same position they've been given. So why I was having a different opinion is that if they have been there to form government, but now it is obvious, maybe some people don't understand what we are seeing as young tax. Raila has given up. Raila knows Raila does not want to become president. He has never wanted. So he knows very well that I'm not going to become president. What do I do? These people, I must ensure that this thing we have been looking for, the presidency, I must leave them inside the presidency. So any expertise they have been providing in my camp, I can donate those expertise to the current president, because we are now in what we call MOU, ODM and UDA. That is the trajectory angle Raila is taking these people, because even Makau Mutua is going there, the so-called secretariat. Currently, look at the president. Is now being managed. They have now reduced him to someone who's being told, unlike what he used to be during their
Yeah.
tenure with Rigiji, because it used to be like the overall. He used to be like the Mr. Know It All. Nowadays, he's being told, Mr. President, stop abduction. And actually, of late, there haven't been any abduction. They have been told, stop these extrajudicial killings, stop this situation from this, stop, leave needs to be independent, leave KDF alone. In fact, he has been advised, take KDF out of the internal lands. They should go back to barracks. So, in my view, these people are trying to make him look like a Democrat leader, unlike what he used to be. You know, Ruto used to appear like a dictator, someone who is demagogue, or some the way Meguna used to call them, a demagogue or a despot. But you find out that right now is not that he's a Democrat person, but he's trying to be rebranded. And the people who are providing this rebranding to Mr. President are the current experts, and also in the cabinet meeting. You understand right now, most of the things discussed in the cabinet meeting are in the public domain. They're trying to make him closer to the people. They're just trying to rebrand him for 2027. That's why I still believe that the issue of appointing Odinga's people into government, or the issue of taking that secretariat direct to the executive, is strategic to ensure that they assist this current president to go for a second term, and with their leader also want to ensure that he has rewarded them to an extent that because this presidency of Raila Odinga is not forthcoming, is certain sure that he's not going to deliver presidency to these people. Now, it's better for them to work with the current president other than waiting for something which is not forthcoming. Lastly, I want to say like this. You know, everybody, we form these coalitions or these parties to capture power, or we form these
Yes.
coalition parties to go to government. But we can't be in that government, all of us. And even right now, if we have a party with Marco Bura, we are forming it to be in government. But if we fail to be in government, we can find ourselves in a position criticizing objectively the current regime. But if that is not the case, if all of us were forming these event secretariats, think tanks for Raila to be president, Raila is not the president. Ruto is the president. These think tanks want to be in government. Now they can take what is there for them, because this one for Raila is not there. So it's better for them, according to me. That's why I differ with you people that, according to
Yeah.
me, it's better for Raila to leave them in the hands of Ruto, which is the president in the government, other than promising something that is certain sure that is not going to be there. So at the end of the day, even the Wamunyoro team at Yangi, they are regrouping to go into government. If in case they get into government, what so we are advising the current people or Odinga's appointee that once you are in there, what I can say that I want to differ with you people that you as people are saying politicians are the same, or these things people can be bought. No, even if you are bought or not, once you are in that government, those good policies, those good manifestos, those good strategies which you had while you are outside, try to incorporate them in that government, because we cannot leave government as it is now for Ruto, and we cannot say that government is evil. Each and every person who is in government now must be labeled evil, because even tomorrow you want to be governor, Makobura, tomorrow you might be a legislature. We will not expect you now to paint you with things which you are not there. So what do? That government is good, and everybody want to be government. Even we want to be that government. So what do? Once we are in there, we ensure that we respect and uphold the constitution, we defend the people's right, and Ruto must be put down by the people. Now you are the president, now sit down. This is a democratic state. You need to rule with the constitution, not any other means. You need to rule and respect human rights. I think, in my view, that is a good way to go. That let us not fear government. That even me today, I can be appointed as a PS. Then people will label me, "Oh, Miguda, you have joined them." No, I've not joined them. I've gone there, but I'm going there to make sure that these things which I've been talking about, these critics have been doing them objectively. I must ensure
Yeah.
that I do them. So I rather be dismissed by the president or kicked out, but I was doing the right thing inside government. Lastly, right now, people like Sifuna, whom we are praising, people like Babu Wino, they are in government. They are in the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. They are not National Assembly of the Republic of Uganda or Tanzania. They are in government. But what are they doing? They are ensuring that in that government,
Yes.
Sifuna is preaching for the allocation of more resources to the counties, but other senators are also trying so much that resources cannot come out of Nairobi. So you see, there's a distinction. The fact that you're in government doesn't mean that now you are evil. We can be that government, but we ensure that we protect the resources and we protect the rest of the people, so that at the end of the day, at least people can ensure that we have leaders. That one must be distinct.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miguda. And you've talked of something I wrote here about rebranding for President William Ruto for 2025, and maybe what is being done by the experts coming in, the bringing Ruto closer to people and to show that he is a good leader where everybody can make a decision. Now, Makobura, when you look at the appointment, what has that happened with the think tank, not only Makao Mutua? Does it mean that maybe there is other demands that maybe the Right Honorable Prime Minister and President had that were not put down for 10-point agenda? Because 10-point agenda was for the public, but now maybe besides or under kwa nyuma ya tent, tunasema hivyo kwa Kiswahili, labda kuna yale pia walisikilizana wakaandikana kama marafiki, waseme kwamba hizi ambazo ziko kama 10 hizi zitakuwa za wananchi ambao lazima tupelekee wananchi, lakini tena kuna ile yetu mimi na wewe, kuna vitu ambazo nataka ukamilishe, ama vitu ambazo nataka unifanyie mimi kwa ajili ya mimi kukuja. Unadhani inaweza kuwa kama kulikuwa na mchakato kama huo? I mean,
okay. Just like I'd said,
yeah,
whatever we were given as an agreement between the UD and ODM, that is not the final thing that they really signed or had. That is not the treaty that they had. And of late, since the differences that we've seen, especially during after the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, we've spoken about this behavior, political behavior. And we've always said here that, when politicians are coming together, they do have a treaty that they sign. And the truth of the matter is, they don't always disclose these treaties. They only do when there are differences, when there are impeachments. And that is part of what we saw during the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. He came out and gave so many revelations about the things that they agreed, but what was given or told to the public is quite different on the agreements that they had. If, for example, issues to do with the speakership of Wetangula, issues to do with the prime cabinet secretary, the positions that were given to CS Mutuas and the rest. These are conversations that have happened, and these are part of political behaviors that we've always seen. And I think there is a clear clarification that the political class are not always truthful when they come to the public. They only give the information that they feel is not going to affect their earnings or their dealings once they've gotten into power. And what I can say is that there were so many things behind the scene that the ODM party and the UDA party signed. It is just unfortunate that those that we were told as a people, they told us what we wanted to hear, depending on the circumstances and what was happening at that particular time. At that particular time, there were issues to do with injustices, there were killing, brutalities, they were disrespecting of constitution and so many other things. And those are part of the things that they thought, according to them, to give or to share with the republic. One thing that I can also say is that if you look at the appointments, as much as they did not tell us that appointment was part of the agreement, but we've seen appointments. So that is a clear indication that part of what they had were appointments. And of course, there were timelines on how those appointments would be done. We've seen quite a number of senior ODM members being appointed, that cannot just happen from anywhere. That is an instruction, that is an agreement that they signed. And of course, clarification that the political class, whenever their interests converge, they will always make a move that is favoring them and their close allies. Mr. Miguda, maybe you can also give your take on that.
What I want to say is that we find out that currently there are more people who are being incorporated into the government by the current president. And mostly they are appointing people from the ODM party. That one must be understood. So it is very clear that it is a UDODM government. And that's why they can't take people from Wiper. We have many parties. We are a multi-party democracy state. But why can't they take people even from Inject Party? Because we have Inject Party. Why can't they even take people from that one for Karowa or from DAP for Eugene? We have so many parties in the country. I believe that it is an agreement working forward towards the 2027 and beyond. ODM, UDA pact, not any other party. That's why you will find out most, including the secretariat of Odinga, has now moved from Capitol Hill to State House. That's a very good indication that these guys, they are working together. And I also believe that provided they're working together, they have said that they have their values. And we also insisted as the people that we don't want to interfere with the information. Let them have their formation, the way they have decided. The same way the Wamunyoro, the Karoa, JB, Inturi, Matiangi are having their formation. Let us respect each other. Don't interfere with the Matiangi's formations. Let us not interfere with the current UD and OD information. And also we can have a third force. A third force can come in. And also when we are having our third force, let them not interfere with our third force formation or our third force movement. And from the look of things, third force might sweep everything because if you look at that camp of Munyoro and the camp of Ruto and Raila, same things. There is monkeys are in different forests, but all of them are monkeys. So we are not going to, according to me, I'm entitled to my opinion. It is not good for us to allow them to continue ruling the country because they are the part and parcel of why we are here today and where we are today. I believe that there is high time for a third force to emerge, and that third force can sweep all seats from MCA, MPs, governors, senators, women rep, and even the sixth president of the Republic of Kenya. I believe so. What I want to say also is that it is good for people to form formation. What we don't want to interfere with is that because we have been demanding for our rights to be respected and protected, even we the people also we should respect the rights of the people who are in government. Let us not cry that Raila must join the people for the people to win. Raila's not been declared from 2007, even in 1975. He has never been declared. How sure are you now that if he comes and joins the people, he's going to be declared? Maybe Raila is the problem. Maybe where he needs the camp where he is, the electoral commissioner, sometimes all the returning officer, national returning officer, cannot declare his side. So this issue of people crying that Raila has betrayed, of course, he has betrayed the struggle, the historical struggle, but he has not betrayed anybody. He has betrayed the historical struggle. That one I agree, but he has not betrayed anybody because just like you and me, all of us have that political right and conscience. You can make a decision. No one should choose for you. And I want to say this one unapologetically that no one, including the president, can decide for anybody who your friends are or who your associates are. It is within your own conscience to decide that me, I want to work with Karowa. Me, I want to work with Ruto. And I'm not being compelled. And I'm not being subjected that you must defend Ruto, you must support government. No, I'm not going to do that one. We are going to be liberal state, whereby you decide by your own, like the Kasmuel has decided to join ODM, Mora decided to join the Wamunyoro, and other people also remain where we are, like us, we are still where we were. And that's why we still believe in the third force. That third force is the right move now to take these people home, because they have regrouped, they have managed to divide us because they have united, and we are also divided across the tribe because they have made sure that the Wamunyoro have gone with the Mount Kenya and Gema, and the UDA and Odinga, they have taken part of the Western Kenya, and now Wamunyoro is trying to penetrate through Matiangi, taking Kisii votes, part of the Western Kenya, Manatembea, Trans Nzoia, Western Kenya. You understand? Now that is the division we have been talking about. They have managed to divide the citizens along tribal, party politics, hatred, ethnicity. They have succeeded. What do we do as the people now? We don't need to allow them to succeed. We need to emerge with a third force. And this third force can ensure that at least we can bring reforms to the country. And we must understand also that I'm still defending the rights of the people, that we don't have even feelings about Raila working with Ruto. Let them work. That is their own right. But we are also telling them, do not interfere with our decisions and our political moves the way we have not interfered with your people. Respect begets respect. That's how we can develop our democracy, and we believe that you should not take it too serious, like you are putting politics into your heart. It's something that you should understand that there are things that matters in politics. There are things, you can even decide to view it as a game of football, whereby you have been a long supporter of Arsenal or Man U or Chelsea or Inter Milan or Barcelona. But in between, there is also transfer window, when even during the pre-season or even during the season, even the international break, you find that there are some players who will always be signed to other teams, and they will do better in those teams. You can even find some coaches, like what happened. Jose Mourinho used to be coaching Chelsea, but later sometimes Chelsea was a rival to Man U. Jose Mourinho came to coach Man U, and things are moving on. That's like politics. Don't expect people to be stagnant. Don't expect people to be crucified somewhere, that you must be in ODM. If you are a Luo, you must be registered as an ODM party. No, we are not going to register as ODM people. We are not going to be somewhere. We are not going to follow somebody, because we also understand times, we understand nature, things have changed. Some people are busy looking for their apparent hair, but you want us to follow them. Why do we follow someone who's looking for someone to succeed him? We want to follow someone whom we are seeing future, even some like 30 years from now. We don't want to follow someone who is busy, concerned about the rightful heir to the throne. We don't want somebody, because he will leave for us that rightful heir to the throne to follow. We need to understand that things have changed. Naturally, things must change, and also it's high time for people to decide on their own. There's no compelling people here. There's no coercing people here. There's no subjection here. You are conscious, and always try so hard to side with the people and the constitution. You will always be on the right side of the history. But the people who tend to go against the people and the constitution, always history usually judge them very harshly. Back to you, Makubura.
Maybe you can also give your take on Matiangi's move tomorrow is appearing for the first time.
Yeah, that is good for Matiangi. Matiangi, we said, of course, we don't expect an angel to be the president, because all of us are human beings. And it's very clear in the Holy Book that all have sinned and fall short in the eyes of God and eyes of man. Therefore, all of us, we have our past. Matiang'i, we urge him. It's good now he's making baby steps. We wanted him to make baby steps because he was abroad. Now he has come back to the country. Let him face these things with people are facing. Let him face abductions. Let him face arrest. Let him face blackmails. Let him face propaganda. Let him face anything. Let him face tear gas. Let him face threats, cases in court. Yeah, that's how you can build a strong leader. But you cannot be somewhere in exile that I want to be president. I want to be president. No, you cannot become president like that. So it's good. Let him move the country. Those are things which we are advocating for. Freedom of movement. Let him move. Even you move. Let him interact. Let him engage. Let him sell his policies so we can decide whether we are going to vote for him or we are going to be considered that force. But if he's a good person, and also Matenyi must also come clear on other issues we have been that he must come and confess atrocities which were committed in the previous regime, people for him to buy that public trust. Because what will happen, his opponent, his opponent is a shrewd politician, William Ruto. William Ruto will simply pin Matiang'i down on propaganda, not facts. He will just come to the youths with the way he knows how to persuade people. He will tell the youth that huyu jamaa mwenye alivunja ile mashini yenu ya kubet ya wa China, youths will be swayed. He will go to the to the people and ask them, jamaa mwenye aliua watu Rivayala, propaganda. Are you getting the point? He will say, he will go to Northern Eastern. Huyu jamaa alikuwa anataka kufunga refugee camp ya Kakuma na Dadaab. Those propaganda, people buy them more than facts. So he must be very straightforward about the issue and the opponent because opponents, Matiang'i's opponent is not a joke. He knows how to, he's good at propaganda, he's a propagandist, and that is the wing he played during the 207 when they were with Baba. He was a propagandist wing, and that's why he ended up at Hague because he was used as a mouthpiece to the king. The king was not speaking much, he was the one who was speaking for the king. So that mouthpiece of the king made him to land as the high CC. So you must understand your opponent first, and also Mategi. If he comes out and clear his name, he will have already countered the propaganda of Mr. Ruto. But if he goes silent, that he wants the people to assist him, William Ruto will have him for a breakfast. That I can assure you. The propaganda which that person is talented. He is gifted when it comes to propaganda and lies. He is gifted in lies. He is gifted in propaganda. He is gifted in many things which are awkward. So Mategi must also be very careful and understand his opponent. But we don't limit Matiang'i. Let him move. Let him associate. Let him form formations. Let him have friends across the board. Let him also engage professions, civil society, persons with disabilities. Let him also have a secretariat where is responding to whenever after making any moves. Let him also try to, and also let him also try to associate himself with some people because there are some people who have been labeled to be public enemies. So try to associate yourself with them, and also let him appear like someone who is not a puppet. If he appears like a puppet to Rigichi, then there's a problem. If he appears like a puppet or an extension of Uru's terms, there's a problem. Let him appear like someone who is coming just from nowhere with the back of the people. But we can assure him that it's not going to be easy. Let him just try to work smart because this politics is not administration where it used to be. He was doing good in administration. He's going to face all sort of things, and it's not going to be easy. He's going to face many opposition, including criminal justice system. Is going to be applicable to him because he's not combining the state. So that's why we need someone who's brave, someone who does not fear these things to face William Ruto. But if he knows he's not ready, he can give space to another person. But if he's ready, people can back him. Back to you, Makubura.
Okay. Thank you. Allow me to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us, and to say thank you to Gypsy Corner, Judith Karuitha, Brenda Obedi, and everyone who joined and engaged us at the comment section. We really appreciate, and we hope that you'll join us again tomorrow. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening. And we hope to see you again tomorrow, as we'll be continuing this kind of conversations. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.